There's Chicago there. Do you see it in the camera?
Beautiful.
Let's take the camera full
Picture
screen.
perfect.
Where are the clouds, Chicago? 78 degrees, full out sunshine. It is going to be a hot one and a sticky one in the city. In fact, that's where we have Fox Weather Storm Specialist Mike Seidel. Mike, it really is about the heat. I know we have to talk about the storm threat in through the rest of the afternoon and into tonight, but we'll be around 90 degrees today. Humidity, it is on. Beautiful Lake Michigan behind you. I looked it up, Mike, because I was curious how much shoreline Chicago technically had of Lake Michigan. It is 26 miles, my friend. Not bad.
Well, I've got part of it right here with me. This is North Avenue Beach, Marissa, on a stellar beach day. The last time I was standing here, I think the wind chill was 20 below zero and the lake was iced over. So this is quite a turnaround. Just a little light chop on the lakefront today. Obviously, without a lot of wind, we don't have much wave action here. Well, we have seen, 8-10 footers with big winter storms. Water temperature now in the low 60s, 62, and I put my hand in it, and yeah, it's chilly. And if you went in full throttle, you probably gasp for a second, but you can get used to it. When it's warm out on the beach, as Marissa said, already approaching 80 degrees here at about 8 o'clock in the morning Central Time. There's the skyline of Chicagoland. You can't beat this, especially from the beach. And the flag, Old Glory, not a whole lot of wind, but it is an offshore wind. And it will stay that way right on through the next several days, because even behind the front, it'll be a northwest wind. But southwest winds certainly tonight and tomorrow as those storms come in. By the way, the storms, we don't need the severe weather. But we certainly could use a rainfall. Chicago, O'Hare is down almost 7 inches of rainfall. They've only had about 60% of the rainfall year to date, and they're officially in a stage 1 moderate drought. So a low-end drought, but boy, it's been dry here. So we'll take the rain, and some spots could pick up an inch of rain between tonight and Wednesday evening, just depending on where the storm's set up. Here's that radar forecast. So today is dry. Maybe a few pop-ups later this afternoon and this evening, especially away from the city. And then tonight, overnight, we get storms. We get a break tomorrow morning. That's the timing now. Now, the question is, how much heating do we get tomorrow to reactivate and re-destabilize and get that atmosphere cooking again? That remains to be seen, but there is that threat for severe weather, all hazards, wind, hail, and even a tornado threat. But the number one threat tomorrow will be straight-line wind damage. Hopefully nothing like we've seen recently in the plains with those MCSs and those Bow Echoes of triple-digit gust. But out here, it's all about a beautiful beach day. Marissa, temperature is up around 90. Humidity is going to be around 55 to 60%. So the heat index this afternoon will be in the low to mid 90s. And as we get into the weekend, a big heat ridge is going to build. And we may have our first stretch of 90-degree heat. Officially at this latitude, 3 days in a row, 90 or plus defines the heat wave. And that is certainly on the docket starting Saturday, Sunday, into early next week. But in the meantime, enjoy the day today, and then watch out for the storms tomorrow. And we'll be here live on Fox Weather from Chicagoland.
Yeah, some of those storms can be feisty. I was looking at the wind direction coming out of the southwest, so we're not going to get much of that cool lake breeze, right, as we go through the day. So I don't know if you're going to be jumping in, but you were talking about water temperatures still quite frigid, apparently, out of Lake Michigan.
Well, I grew up on the Maryland-Delaware coast, and I was back there a couple weeks ago, and the water temp was about 65, and I did not go in all the way. I got, I got my ankles and knees wet, but I could handle this, for the right price. But in the meantime, I'll stay on the warm sand, and we'll be here through the mid to latter part of the afternoon. We'll see how many people actually go in. There were people in yesterday. Kids, young kids, cold water doesn't seem to bother them as much as adults. And remember, this is Chicago. Down in Florida, the locals won't go in the water unless it's like 84, 85 degrees. So it's all relative to where you live and what you're used to. So I'm sure there will be people in the water today, especially as the temperatures climb through the 80s to near 90 degrees here on Oak Street Beach on Lake Michigan here in Chicago.
Yeah, my husband used to live kind of near that beach, and even in the summer you get folks running around sweating it out, and then they would take a quick jump into the water and then get right out. But it was good for the muscles. Apparently it's good for the skin, but it also cools you down. So, Mike, appreciate that. As Steven said earlier, you are glowing, my friend. Even though we don't have the morning sunrise, Stephen, he's still glowing out there. Must be the
Well,
it must be the SPF.
Getting that sunburn on the neck.
I got a good flop sweat starting here. And by the way, the runners out this morning at 5:30 a.m. Even now, there's some runners out here, and I want to tell you, they're sweating buckets. It is even though it's not 80, it doesn't take much when the humidity is running 80 to 85%. So yes, good time to just run and then just jump in the lake and cool yourself off in a matter of a second.
Yeah, or just not run at all. But that's just me. Fox Weather Storm Specialist Mike Seidel joining us there. out of right along Lake Michigan. You said
lazy.
Oak Beach, right? Yes. Yes,
No,
I am.
North Avenue Beach.
North Avenue Beach. North Avenue Beach.
North Avenue Beach.
In a previous
Oak
life,
Street Beach is over there, just a little farther south.
It's further south. Further south. Yeah.
Marissa was a runner. You were a runner.
I'm retired.
Sure.
I was a not very good cross-country runner. Congratulations. Let's take it further into Chicago. In fact, we have Fox Weather Storm Specialist Mike Seidel hanging out right along Lake Michigan. At last check, and I'm not sure if you're still there, you were hanging out at North Avenue Beach. I did a little bit of research, meaning a quick Google search, and it turns out North Avenue Beach, Mike, is one of the most popular beaches according to ChooseChicago.com. In fact, my friend, you can go jet skiing, you can go paddle boarding. There's an endless list of opportunity here, is what I'm saying.
You can go kayaking. They've got. You can take lessons. We've got jet ski rentals today. The beach officially opens at 11. It'll be guarded 11 to 7. Right now, as you can see, nobody really out here. A few people, a few dogs earlier this morning, and Lake Michigan, there's the crib way out there, the intake for water for the city, and you can see just a little ripple on the water right now. Water temperature right now is running in the low 60s. That's pretty nippy for most of us. There's the crib out that way. Can you see that out past the lifeguard stand? That's how they get the water intake into the city. It's way out there. Sometimes you get some interesting observations there during winter time storms. We're right here on the sidewalk on the path. We've had hundreds and hundreds of runners this morning, joggers, even some bikers as we look north up the path towards Lakeshore Drive. It has thinned out. That's because everybody wanted to get their run in early. We saw runners out here at sunrise, 5:30 this morning, daylight runners. And even at that point, they were breaking a pretty good sweat. Temperature now at O'Hare and Midway, both airports now up to 80 degrees. Dew points at 70 at O'Hare. That puts the heat index to 83. And this afternoon, we're going to be approaching 90. They've had 2 90-degree days so far this season at O'Hare, officially. That's the official station for Chicagoland. One in May and one in June. So we'll see how we do today. Hottest day so far, 94 earlier in the month. But by the time we get to Saturday and Sunday, we could be up 95, 96 degrees. It's going to get really hot here. But before we get there, we have today's beautiful beach day, and then we have the threat of storms overnight and tomorrow. We have a cold front coming in, and that's going to knock the temperatures back a little bit by Thursday. Tomorrow, with the clouds and the rain, our highs will probably not get much above 80, maybe upper 70s. The storms move in late tonight and in the morning, and then we get a break, and then we'll have some more in the afternoon. Remains to be seen how potent, how juicy these storms are, but certainly the threat for straight line wind damage, even some hail, and the tornado threat certainly is not zero. We'll watch that too. We'll see how the spin increases in the atmosphere. Storm Prediction Center mentioned that in their update this morning on that convective outlook for the day on Tuesday. But back out here, I want to show you, this is the ship. It's not a real ship, but it looks like a ship. This is their beach house here. This is actually the newer version. They had one here for years, and they put a new one in about 25 years ago. And there's a restaurant, the bathrooms, first aid. There's a snowball stand, a milkshake stand. So this is all going to be opening up, and some great views up there on that top deck. We'll call that the Lido deck today out here at North Avenue Beach. And by the way, I think today my title should be Beach Specialist and not Storm Specialist. Tomorrow we'll go back to Storm Specialist.
All right, I'm right. I have a pen.
What do you think?
I have a pen. I'm crossing. I'm going to write Beach Specialist next time I toss to you. That is a party deck, and you're going to get so many people that start to fill in. You mentioned pina coladas earlier. It's so much fun over at North Avenue Beach, anywhere along Lake Michigan. Mike,
come over here.
I was wondering where people were, but then I realized it's Tuesday morning. People are making money to buy pina coladas.
Yeah, it's not the weekend, but here's your pina colada prices out on the beach here. So remember, this is the beach, and Pineapple Deluxe. Well, they've crossed these numbers out. They may have gone up this season, but there you go. We got the pina colada, the mango colada, and the strawberry colada.
All
and
right.
the El Campeon Pina Colada, Acapulco style, whatever that means. We'll have to figure that out, but there you go. So we've got refreshments out here, alcoholic and non-alcoholic. A good day to drink plenty of water. I brought 3 bottles of water out here with me, even though in between live shots I'm sitting in the car and trying to stay cool. But just a stellar day, hardly a cloud in the sky. And there's our first boat this morning coming by, right up here towards the beach. Not sure if that's a personal boat or a Coast Guard. I think it's a personal boat, but it's the kind of day you want to be out on the water to stay cool with that water temperature in the low 60s. Marissa?
Yeah, Chicagoans know these days are few and far between, so you got to take advantage. It'll certainly fill up. Stephen was drooling. This is for you. Wipe your mouth,
I'm just having
Stephen.
FOMO, so I wanted to be a part of it.
Did you want a strawberry colada?
I want that Acapulco. I want the El Campeon.
Right
Something out of a pineapple,
Right here?
Mike. Yeah.
Let's hear. All right, go big or go home.
Sugary.
I could maybe bring one back for you. Yeah. Yeah. Get you all jacked up. Get you all jacked up for your next radar segment.
That's right. That's right.
We need it today.
Mike, we appreciate you, and Fox Weather Beach Specialist.
There it is.
At least until the storms develop.
Here.
Mike Seidel. It's official. It's official. Thank you, Mike.
Why'd you give me this next?
Because you were drooling.
I'm drooling.
You were like.
I'm either drooling or sweating.
Chicago right now. Mike, good to see you, buddy. Haven't talked to you in a long time. It's a beach day for you. Very nice.
It's not too shabby. You know, usually you see us on the beach, and it's the day or two before a hurricane or tropical system. Nothing could be farther from the truth, because we are in Chicagoland. We're almost at the first day of summer, so very high, potent sun angle, hardly a cloud in the sky. What's saving us today, Bob and Marissa, is the fact that we have a pretty good breeze. Sometimes the umbrellas will flap a little bit from the southwest and south-southwest, so it's blowing offshore. Good thing today about swimming, look at this. The lifeguards are up on the stands now until 7, and they've got the green flags flying. That means no real swimming issues, rip currents, or dangerous sea life. I don't think they have that much of an issue here in the fresh waters of, well, maybe a gar or something comes up from the bottom and comes up and nibbles on your toe. But bottom line is, it's a good day for getting in the water. If you can handle the water temperature, Bob and Marissa, right now running in the low 60s. Got some folks out here playing some football. We've got a gal out here who's doing some rowboating and running around the water there. And then in the far corner, down by the jetty, we've got the jet skis. You can rent the jet skis. And look at this guy right here. Now, this guy is working hard. What is your name, sir?
My name is Chris.
Chris. I'm Mike Seidel with Fox Weather.
Nice to meet you.
And tell me, now I'm from the beach in Maryland, Delaware, and the guys on the beach just go like this with the umbrellas.
Yeah.
But you're doing it the easy way.
Yep.
Pull it all up. Show me. It's the auger. He's got an auger, so he puts that down and then puts the umbrella.
And then you just screw it in, tighten it, and then you put the umbrella on top, and it's all good.
And it can withstand a fair amount of wind.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Well, that's a great way to do it, and a lot less elbow grease.
Yeah.
Well, it was nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you.
Enjoy the day, huh?
Thank you, yeah.
Yeah, sure. Okay, there you go. So out there getting the umbrellas up. There's the ship, the Castaways, now open. We're going to try to get up there and give you a view from the restaurant here sometime this afternoon. And, of course, behind the Castaways and the ship with the bathrooms and the lifeguards and all the other necessities and services, we've got the just incredible skyline of Chicago up there. There's the Hancock Tower in the foreground. So today is not an issue. We're going to be heading up close to 90. Right now at O'Hare, 86, heat index 90. We do have some storms showing up on the latest Terra model, the high resolution forecast, starting to pop around 7 or 8 in Chicagoland, isolated. And then more storms overnight. Tomorrow is the day for severe weather as the low goes near us. We get in the warm sector, we have more spin, and we have a cold front coming in. So tomorrow's the day we have the risk for some straight line wind damage, hail, and potentially a tornado or two. That's not out of the question. Storm Prediction Center keeping a close eye on what we call the helicity, or the spin in the atmosphere, to see if that tornado threat does ramp up with future model runs. The morning model runs now coming in, the GFS and the European, the 12Z model runs. on. So we'll keep an eye on that for you, keep you safe. In the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, it's all about sunscreen and enjoying Chicago. So many days you cannot even get out on the beach. And as I said earlier to you, Marissa, the last time I was standing on this beach, the lake was iced over, so that puts it in perspective.
Yes.
They take advantage of the good weather here in the upper Midwest and the Midwest this time of the year.
Yeah, Mike, I got to tell you, I'm almost close to your age. That dude was cheating with that drill getting into the sand. Back in our day, it was the hand wedge, and it took about a half an hour, 45 minutes, right?
Well, it didn't take me that long, but then again, I was in peak physical condition when I was younger.
Well,
what I heard is that Mike is saying he's stronger.
I guess so. But when he's fighting guys like Corn Pop, I guess, yeah, he is. Just kidding. Anyway,
Hey, I grew up on the Eastern Shore.
I knew you were right down there. Mike, good to see you, man. We'll check back in with you again in a little bit. Our storm specialist, Mike Seidel in Chicago. It's well, we'll call it a beach day before everything goes kinetic on you tomorrow afternoon. But right now, it's pretty nice, Mike.
It is. This is kind of a bonus day. As I mentioned earlier, this is the kind of day you have before a tropical system or hurricane tropical storm makes landfall. But today, nothing of the order coming off Lake Michigan. Here's the lake behind us. Now, keep in mind it's a weekday, so this beach is not going to get packed. But boy, what a beautiful day out here. Temperatures right now in the upper 80s. 87 on O'Hare. The heat index is 91. So we've got a touch more humidity than we did yesterday when we topped out at 88 at the airport. We got the green flags on the lifeguard stands. No issues in the water, except the water temp for many of us is still pretty chilly. 61, 62. Yep, that's what it is. We got some young ladies frolicking in the water there in the foreground. It doesn't drop off very quickly. There's a lot of sandbar action out there. And then in the distance, we've got some boaters out here enjoying Lake Michigan today because it is almost glassy. There's not much of a ripple out there. Maybe a little bit more wave action farther out because the winds are blowing offshore. We've got a south and southwest wind right now at O'Hare, gusting 21 miles an hour. You can see it on Old Glory up here on the Castaways restaurant deck. This is just a stunning location. They're open into the evening, so you can come up here and have a dinner and a cocktail and just enjoy the beach. And if you get tired of looking at the beach, well, look at this. You can turn around and check out the stunning Chicago skyline. So we got it all up here and just a terrific view of what is a perfect beach day. But more importantly, the reason we're here in Chicago is for what's going to happen tomorrow. We've got the severe threat ramping up tomorrow, even overnight tonight, but certainly tomorrow afternoon, late morning through early evening here in Chicago as that cold front approaches. We're going to be in the warm sector, and that's where we have the most spin. So the tornado threat certainly is there. It's not a very high threat at this point, but certainly straight line wind damage and the gusty winds along with potentially some hail. Rainfall is needed here. Chicago, O'Hare is down almost 7 inches of rain so far in 2025. That's about 60% of average, and they're in a stage 2 moderate drought. So they're in the low end of a drought situation, but they'll take the rain. And some areas may get an inch of rainfall. You know how these thunderstorms are if they park over your area, or if you get, say, one in the morning and then one again tomorrow afternoon. But Bob, it's just a really beautiful beach day. They may hit 90 today for the third time this summer. Their hottest day was earlier in June at 94, but hot weather is ahead. In fact, our first heat wave is forecast here in Chicago 3 days in a row, 90 or better, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday of next week. It's going to be a hot, steamy weekend, and I can guarantee you this beach is going to be wall to wall if you come back here on Saturday.
Yeah, Mike, I'm trying to remember the last time you were in Chicago.
Bob?
Last time you were in Chicago was a different scene. I believe the lake was frozen over, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, the last time I was here at North Avenue Beach, yes, frozen over. Now, I've been here in March. I don't know if you remember this. This is one of the classic record-setting early season heat waves. Back in mid-March of 2012, the Midwest, Northern Plains, stunning heat wave. Here in Chicago, they were in the 80s. I believe it was 8 days in a row. St. Patty's Day, that Saturday, it was in the low 80s. The average high that time of the year is in the mid-40s. So they were breaking record high mins. I was starting out here at the beach at 6 a.m. It was 60 degrees. The average high, keep in mind, is 46. And then every afternoon they were cracking 80 degrees out here. But that was in March. The water temp was in the mid-30s. But I do remember a couple of people actually came out in their bikinis, and some folks put their toes in the water, which was just about 4 or 5 degrees above freezing. But this is a lot different than. Yeah, this is a lot different. You know, in the winter here, it's everybody just kind of hides, but the city just really opens up once you get the warm weather here, and they soak it up more so than, you know, in southern latitudes where you have warm weather, you know, 8, 9 months a year.
Mike, I have to ask you because I know you're our snow guy. You love a good snowstorm, but you've been there in 2 extremes now. So which one do you actually prefer? Do you like this summertime feel, or do you prefer Chicago winter?
Ooh, that's a good question. I like a little bit of both. You know, if it's January, I want a big snowstorm, a big blizzard. This time of the year, this is not bad. And the best part about it is, as I said earlier, typically when one of us is out on a day like this, the next day or the day after, we're dealing with a tropical storm or a hurricane.
That's a good point.
I mean, they don't send us out to cover sunny, warm weather. I mean, that just
not
isn't
enough
happening.
Anyway.
That's true. Ain't that
not
the truth?
Yeah, well, in Bob's case, not enough.
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's no waves. He said it's like Lake Placid out there, but what a beach day, Mike. Great report up there. We appreciate it. It's going to be different tomorrow afternoon. I can't wait to talk to you then, my friend.
Yeah, and we'll be here too tomorrow, by the way.
All right, Mike Seidel up there in Chicago, right there on the beach. Good stuff. All right, going to be a big problem out there. We've got Mike Seidel, Fox Weather storm specialist out there. Right now, Adam, I've been kind of messing with him a little bit. He said it's a beautiful beach day right here in Chicago. You're thinking, was he waiting for a hurricane? No, that's Lake Michigan behind him. But, man, yeah, nice day, Mike, right now. But we know it's going to turn a little wild by tomorrow afternoon, my friend.
Soak it up while you can.
Do it.
Yes, indeed. Look at this. How about this, huh? Good sunscreen day, by the way, because we're almost to the summer solstice on Friday morning officially here in the lower 48 and around the continent and across the world. So we got the highest sun angle of the season, so you got to throw that sunscreen on and use it liberally. So you don't get burned. Meanwhile, what a day at the beach. We're up here at Castaways Restaurant and Bar. This is the place to be to be seen, I think, in the evening. Once it cools off and you got the great view of the beach, and we've got folks in the water. Look at this out here. And they're going in about ankle, about knee deep. Notice the water is not very deep, kind of a sandbar out there. But not a whole lot of action on the from the wave front. So it's a nice day. They've got the green flag flying on the lifeguard stands, so no issues, no rip currents. Certainly the wave action's not a problem. And just a bang-up day here. By the way, Midway has now hit 90. O'Hare at 1 o'clock Central, 89. Heat index is 93. By the way, if they hit 90, it'll be the third day officially at O'Hare. And I look back, the 30-year average in Chicagoland, it's 17 days at 90 or better. So they do hit 90 on a fair amount. It's rare that they go through a summer where they don't hit 90 degrees. I think it was the last time they did that was back in the 1800s. Now, as far as the weather goes today, no problems. The latest high-res model, Bob, you probably noticed, does not have anything popping here this evening now. That doesn't mean it won't change, but they do have storms. It does have storms coming in here around midnight tonight. And then tomorrow is the day for the real action. I noticed the Storm Prediction Center did not upgrade their tornado threat tomorrow, still at 5%. So there is that tornado threat, not exceedingly high. There's going to be enough spin to maybe give a quick spin up or two, especially if we get those isolated supercells ahead of the cold front. That front's going to clear out of here late tomorrow night, and that's going to end the severe threat. But tomorrow, certainly mid-morning to late afternoon and early evening is the time frame for a threat for straight-line wind damage, hail, and again, potentially a tornado or two. Not as warm tomorrow because simply we're going to have more clouds and some rain, upper 70s to near 80. Thursday, cooler, but still above average, which is 81. And then, boy, it gets hot this weekend and next week. Our first bona fide heat wave setting up for the Midwest. Chicagoland heading up to 95 or so Saturday, mid-90s Sunday, and that will likely continue into the early part of next week. So if you didn't get out to the beach today because it's Tuesday, you'll have plenty of time, Bob, to come out here this weekend.
Ooh, dog.
And as I'm told, there'll be They'll be wall to wall right up to the pavement here.
I bet.
And all these volleyball nets will be up too.
Heck yeah.
We got one volleyball net up today.
Nice.
But today, not a big volleyball day. Again, it's a weekday. Most
it's
people
Tuesday.
are stuck in the office looking out the window.
Hey, we're looking at it's green flags, and we were discussing before. Probably picked up our mic. If it was purple flags, it would be dangerous marine life. But is there anything dangerous marine life in Lake Michigan? Eels, maybe. You got snakeheads, but I don't think they go after people.
How about, I don't know, gar,
maybe.
I don't know, bottom feeders.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's a good
And
question.
I don't even think they have a purple flag here. I saw the other two colors. You see that in the saltwater beaches.
Yeah.
Like in Florida, the East Coast, because they have to deal with, especially
Sharks,
in the warmer climates,
man-o-war.
they have to deal with the man-o-wars, the sharks, and items of that matter, but not here.
But
I don't know. Again, I don't know if there would be any dangerous sea creatures in Lake Michigan. Not something like the Loch Ness Monster.
Right. I just looked 65 degrees right now. That might be enough to keep folks out of the water. You don't need a Loch Ness Monster.
It's better than a Jersey Shore in July. Anyway, Mike Seidel, thanks a lot up there in Chicago. It's going to be a different scene for you for sure tomorrow, so we'll check back in tomorrow afternoon. Good stuff, Mike, as always.
And we'll be live here tomorrow. We'll be live here tomorrow starting at 8 a.m. and we'll be out in the suburbs around O'Hare.
Awesome.
Keep an eye on the storms, the planes, and any kind of air traffic impacts at O'Hare International.
Awesome. Good to have you on board, Mike. It's always great to talk to you, my friend.
So let's go live with Fox Weather Storm Specialist Mike Seidel, who's standing by there in the Windy City. Doesn't look too bad right now, though, I'll tell you that.
No, it's one of those quintessential Chicagoland beach days. We've hit 90 now officially at O'Hare Midway, Kiana. So that's their third 90-degree day this season. They average 17 over the past 30 years. So it's not that unusual that you hit 90. By the way, today's record's 97. We won't make it there, but come this weekend and next week, we may get up to the mid, even the upper 90s. Heat index right now, 93. So a little muggy out here, certainly muggier than yesterday. Out here at the beach at North Avenue, and it is Tuesday, so it's not wall to wall like it will be this weekend. But you can see the folks in the water. Water temperature right now 62 degrees, and that's why you don't see many people underwater. Maybe some of the kids. Most people just kind of walking around in the shallows, up to their knees and ankles. Once you get in there, you'll get acclimated. It's when you go full throttle and put your head under that you feel that water temperature in the low 60s. The fact of the matter is, it's not really that unusual for it to be at that number at this time of the year. It's only about a couple of degrees below where they have been on average over the past several years. So we have some clouds, no vertical development at this point. I checked the radar, nothing in line, nothing has popped up yet. And we don't expect anything until later on this evening at this point, until around midnight or so. Storms will start developing as the instability comes in from the south and west. And then tomorrow, with the cold front coming in, we'll have more lift, we'll have more spin in the atmosphere. But the Storm Prediction Center has kept the tornado risk at 5%, so they did not elevate that at the midday update. We'll see what they do tonight and tomorrow. But the main concern is straight line winds and even some hail tomorrow here in Chicagoland and across not only here in northwest Indiana, parts of lower Michigan. And as you go farther south and east, there's more of a risk, an enhanced risk, that we have the wind and hail threat as the front moves east. The key tomorrow is how much sunshine we get after potentially some overnight and morning storms and how much cloud cover is left behind. By the way, just a programming note, we're going to be live here tomorrow starting at 8 a.m. and we'll keep you updated and give you the latest and also any kind of live coverage if we have storms coming through here. Back here on the beach, though, we've got not only people in the water, we got a sailboat out there, we've got the jet skiers. You can rent jet skis, you can rent kayaks, you can rent volleyballs. I mean, this is a place to be. Just a terrific day. And we've noticed and we've mentioned the green flags are flying on the lifeguard stands. What's that mean? No issues, no rip currents. I mean, barely even a wave out there at this point. And just a great day to be out here and avoid the crowds today. A lot of folks out earlier running this morning to get their run and their exercise in before the heat. We were out here at 5:30 right after sunrise, and there were already hundreds of people running, and that has kind of tapered off now in the afternoon with the heat in Kiana. But just a beautiful beach day, and people soak it in here because, as you know, many months of the year out here, it's unbearable because of the wind chill and the cold. In fact, the last time I was actually on North Avenue Beach, Kiana, the lake was frozen over. So this is quite a change and quite a nice day for yours truly here at the beach.
You deserve it, Mike. And I was going to say, it seems like folks have waited almost all season or all of June to get out there today. I have to ask, has anyone mentioned or have they been asking you, hey, why are you here? Because it's so nice and you have to break the news that, hey, we got some severe weather tomorrow. Has anyone responded in any type of way?
Yeah, a couple folks have asked, why are you here? And I let them know, well, no problems today, it's about tomorrow. And you know, typically when you see a meteorologist out on the beach, Fox Weather or wherever, it means that there's a tropical storm or hurricane coming in the next couple of days. Nothing could be farther from the truth here in Chicago. It's all about a cold front tomorrow and storms, a little cooler Thursday, but as I mentioned, just rehashing, really hot and humid with heat indices up around 100, if not maybe a few degrees above the century mark starting on Saturday afternoon here in the Midwest.
All right, enjoy it for now, Mike. I'm sure we'll see you tomorrow morning in such a different element. That's Fox Weather Storm Specialist Mike Seidel. Specialist Mike Seidel. He's standing by in the Windy City. Cloud coverage is building in, but Mike, this is an area that actually had a nice sunny 90-degree day.
Yes, indeed, their third one of the season. Kiana, 91 at O'Hare, 90 at Midway so far. Heat index is up 94, 95 degrees. By the way, heads up, it's going to get even worse by the weekend. Saturday, Sunday, and the next week, the first bona fide heat wave of the season here in the Midwest, including Chicago. One thing I want to warn you about is walking on the beach today. The air temperature may be 90, but the temperature on the sand right now reading 123. So that's why folks are running to the water to cool off. By the way, the water temperature is 60 degrees cooler. Water temperature right now is at 61 degrees, 61, 62, and the sand temperature is 123. You do the mathematics. So it is a place to cool off. Most folks are waiting. Notice the water is not very deep here. It's unusual. I'm so used to the ocean where the water drops off, but the lifeguards are actually, 3 of them are out on the boats, the rowboats, scanning the back end here towards the deeper end. There's 3 of them out here keeping an eye and keeping everybody safe out on the beach. So we got the sunshine beating down, you know, the highest sun angle of the year as summer starts officially with the solstice on Friday morning. What's coming in is that cold front. It's going to cool us off on Thursday, but ahead of that, we're going to have storms probably around midnight tonight here in Chicago, and then tomorrow through the afternoon, early evening, the severe threat will ramp up. Right now, we're thinking the biggest threat will be straight line wind damage. Storm Prediction Center has been watching the risk for tornadoes, still a 5% risk, so it's not been ramped up today. We'll see if that changes tomorrow, if we have increased spin, what we call helicity in the atmosphere. But be on the guard for the wind and the hail, and certainly gusty, not only gusty winds, but some locally heavy rainfall. And to put matters in perspective, Chicago officially at O'Hare is down about 7 inches of rainfall so far in 2025, and most of northern and northwest Illinois is in a moderate drought. That's stage 2, so it could be worse, obviously, but they'll take the rainfall. Flash flooding, yeah, there may be some ponding on the highways, but there are no flash flood watches out. I do not think the Weather Service will issue any because it'll be here and there, kind of like the old whack-a-mole situation. So, Kiana, perfect beach day, and I can tell you these beaches are going to be just wall to wall as we get into the weekend and next week, especially the weekend when people are off work because of the hottest weather of the season coming in this weekend. But be on the lookout. We'll be on the lookout too. We'll be back on Fox Weather tomorrow morning, start at 8 Eastern and 7 Central from Chicagoland to keep you updated on what's coming in. We'll be able to show you whatever is live storm-wise as it comes through our area.
All right, I'm looking forward to all of the forecasts that you give. Definitely the weekend, I think people are going to be a little bit more relieved to see that warmth come in after these storms tomorrow. That's Fox Weather Storm Specialist Mike Seidel with that update. Thanks again.
The perfect place to be here in Chicagoland today was right here at North Avenue Beach. Hardly a cloud in the sky. Temperatures hitting 90 at O'Hare and Midway. The third 90-degree day this season at O'Hare. But keep in mind, they averaged 17 over the past 30 years, so it's not that unusual. But when you get a day like today and the dew point is up around 70, the humidity makes it feel more like 93 or 94, you head to the beach and you head into the water. Why? Because the water temperature right now is still in the low 60s. Most of you would say that is too cold, but notice most folks are just kind of wading around in the shallows. It's not very deep here on North Avenue Beach. Some of the kids going underwater, but that's a way to stay cool on a hot day like today. Notice the lifeguards on the beaches now 11 to 7 through Labor Day, and they've got the green flags flying. That means there's no dangers in the water, no rip currents or anything like that. The reason we're here is for tomorrow. Tomorrow features a big change in the weather. We have a cold front approaching. Storms will kick in later tonight, probably not until around midnight, and then the severe weather threat will ramp up on Wednesday. We've got a cold front approaching. We're going to be in what we call the warm sector, and that's going to lead to some spin in the atmosphere. Now, the Storm Prediction Center doesn't have a high threat for twisters, but with that said, there's still that chance so we could get some spin ups, especially with individual supercells. But the main threat tomorrow here in Chicagoland, across northwest Indiana and lower Michigan, and across many areas east and south of here, including St. Louis and Indianapolis, will be straight line wind damage and some hail. Once that front moves on through, a bit cooler on Thursday, still running a little bit above the average high of 81 in Chicago, and then heads up for the weekend. This beach is going to be packed wall to wall because by Saturday and Sunday, we're going to see highs here in the mid 90s and heat indices dangerously warm up there about the century mark. In the meantime, just a quintessential beach day here in Chicago. Keep in mind what the weather is like here 6 to 7 months of the year. In fact, the last time I was standing here, Lake Michigan was frozen over. I'm meteorologist Mike Seidel, Fox Weather in Chicago.